The streets of ancient Rome were buzzing with life as the first rays of sunlight pierced through narrow alleyways and cobbled roads. Among the many residents preparing for the day were Roman prostitutes, known as meretresses and lupanar women, whose daily routines were far more structured than the casual outsider might imagine. Despite the sensationalized images often associated with their profession, these women were meticulous in their grooming, social interactions, and client preparation, maintaining a delicate balance between survival and social navigation. A typical day began at dawn. Many prostitutes lived in insulae, the multi-story apartment complexes that housed a variety of tradespeople and poor citizens. Their rooms, though small and often dimly lit, were arranged to maximize space for both private and professional activities. Waking up early allowed them to bathe in water heated over small braziers, a daily ritual that was essential for hygiene. Given the city's dense population and lack of modern sanitation, bathing was not just about cleanliness. It was also an act of preparation for attracting clients. Hair would be carefully arranged, often with the aid of small combs, oils, and sometimes even colored powders to enhance appearance. Adhering to contemporary standards of beauty, after bathing, they attended to their clothing. Togas and stolas were common for respectable women, but prostitutes often wore simpler tunics that emphasized accessibility and comfort for work, yet could be styled to appear alluring to clients. Brightly dyed fabrics and jewelry signified wealth or attention to appearance, while the scent of perfumed oils, imported from across the Mediterranean, filled their small quarters. Such sensory cues were subtle markers of status and desirability, differentiating professional women from the vast population of everyday Roman citizens. Breakfast was typically modest: bread, cheese, and occasionally fruit, supplemented with watered wine or posca vinegar-based drink consumed widely by the working class. Nutrition was important not only for personal health, but also for maintaining the energy required to entertain clients throughout the day. As breakfast concluded, some women prepared written records or accounts of their appointments, especially if they were independently managing their trade without a leno pimp or madam overseeing operations. These records, kept in wax tablets or parchment, detailed hours worked, clients served, and fees charged, reflecting a professional approach often ignored by modern stereotypes. The morning ritual culminated in a brief period of mental readiness. Roman prostitutes were acutely aware of the social stigma attached to their profession and developed coping strategies to navigate daily encounters. Some engaged in prayer or ritual offerings to Venus, the goddess of love, seeking divine favor for protection and successful interactions. Others quietly observed the streets, noting which areas of the city had the highest flow of potential clients or which wealthy patrons might be expected that day. Understanding the social and economic landscape was as crucial as physical preparation, forming a vital aspect of their daily strategy. Finally, by mid-morning, the women would leave their apartments and enter the public spaces where work began. Locations varied widely. Some operated near busy marketplaces, others frequented baths, and some worked in dedicated brothels known as lupanaria, complete with stone rooms and raised platforms for client meetings. Each space had its own culture and rules, demanding adaptability and keen observation skills from the women. Walking to these areas, they were already performing a careful balance of visibility and discretion, projecting allure while avoiding confrontations with authorities or hostile citizens. This first part of the day preparation, hygiene, dressing, eating, and mental priming might appear mundane to an outsider, but was laden with complexity. It was a ritualized performance that combined practical necessity with social signaling, ensuring that when the first clients arrived, the prostitutes were not merely physically present, but fully prepared to engage in an intricate web of commerce, negotiation, and interpersonal navigation. As the morning faded into midday, the Roman streets became increasingly crowded with merchants, laborers, and wealthy citizens. For prostitutes, this was the time when their social acumen came into play, far from the passive figures often portrayed. In modern imagination, these women were active participants in the city's economic and social networks, carefully choosing which clients to approach or avoid. The art of client selection was subtle, yet highly strategic. Prostitutes assessed potential patrons on a variety of factors: wealth, demeanor, and perceived reliability. A wealthy senator or equestrian-class citizen promised a higher fee, but could also carry legal or social risks if scandal erupted. Meanwhile, laborers or soldiers might offer smaller fees, but provided more consistent patronage. Observing body language, attire, and even the way a man interacted with others in the street gave the women valuable insight into his temperament and potential value as a client. Many prostitutes formed informal alliances with tavern owners, bakers, and other local tradespeople who acted as informants or provided discreet signals when a high-paying client entered the area. These networks were essential, especially in neighborhoods where the city guard patrolled regularly. Women who operated independently, without a leno or brothel manager, relied heavily on these community connections to maximize their earnings while minimizing risk. Negotiation skills were paramount. Once a potential client was identified, the initial approach often involved subtle gestures, eye contact, a flirtatious smile, or a hand signal that conveyed availability without drawing unwanted attention. If a conversation ensued, it quickly shifted toward the negotiation of fees and services. Here, social intelligence and self-control were critical. A prostitute needed to project confidence and attractiveness while simultaneously gauging the client's intentions, patience, and willingness to pay. Communication extended beyond verbal negotiation. Clothing, accessories, and even posture were carefully curated forms of nonverbal dialogue. A brightly dyed tunic or carefully arranged hair indicated attentiveness to appearance and hinted at the services available. Jewelry, particularly rings or necklaces, could signal financial success or social savvy. Perfumed oils served a dual purpose, enhancing physical allure and demonstrating personal hygiene, an important factor in establishing trust and desirability. The daily routine also involved interactions with fellow prostitutes. While competition existed, there was a significant element of cooperation. Women exchanged information about new clients, the presence of law enforcement, or safe spaces to operate. This mutual support created a quasi-community, allowing them to navigate the city's social complexities with greater security. Some women also apprenticed younger novices, teaching them how to handle clients, negotiate fees, and survive in a profession often fraught with danger. Even during these busy hours, moments of personal reflection occurred. Many prostitutes maintained personal relationships outside their work-family ties, friendships, or romantic involvements, which offered emotional respite from the transactional nature of their profession. Managing this duality required sophistication. Balancing professional obligations with private life demanded discretion and mental resilience. By mid-afternoon, the work often intensified. Clients were more abundant, and the streets teemed with activity. The women moved seamlessly between social performance, negotiation, and economic calculation. Every interaction was measured, every gesture calculated, and every choice had potential consequences for both safety and profit. Through this complex web of social interactions, Roman prostitutes exercised agency and autonomy, navigating a world that was both physically and morally demanding. As the Roman sun began its descent and shadows stretched across the cobblestones, the pace of the city shifted. Evening in ancient Rome was a transition from bustling commerce to quieter domestic activity, but for prostitutes, it often meant a second wave of work. Brothels, taverns, and street corners that were moderately busy during the day now became hotspots for wealthier patrons seeking entertainment under the cover of fading light. Evening rituals began with preparation. Just as in the morning, personal grooming was essential. Hair was restyled, oils reapplied, and clothing adjusted to appear even more alluring under torchlight or candlelight. The dimmer illumination of evening required subtle yet impactful presentation. Glints of jewelry caught in torchlight, the sheen of perfumed oils on skin, and carefully selected colors that accentuated figure and presence. Such details were critical, as a single misstep could deter clients or attract unwanted attention. Social navigation in the evening was both more nuanced and risk-laden. Roman authorities were more likely to patrol after dark, and rowdy behavior from intoxicated patrons presented hazards. Women relied on keen observation, learning to read situations quickly and disengage if a client seemed volatile. Survival strategies included memorizing escape routes, forming temporary alliances with fellow prostitutes, and negotiating safe environments within taverns or private rooms. The streets themselves were an extension of their professional arena, where intelligence, awareness, and foresight were as valuable as charm and beauty. Financial management became a central focus in the evening. After negotiating with clients, women often recorded fees, sometimes discreetly tallying them on wax tablets or in hidden ledgers. This practice was essential not only for personal accounting, but also for planning future needs: rent, food, clothing, and sometimes bribes or gifts to secure favor with powerful patrons. Economic foresight distinguished experienced women from novices, highlighting the professional aspects of the work that were often ignored in modern depictions. Evenings also offered brief moments of camaraderie. Groups of women might gather in corners of alleys or small taverns to share information about particularly lucrative clients, legal risks, or social gossip. These interactions reinforced a community network that served both social and protective functions. Experienced prostitutes mentored younger women, offering advice on negotiation, self-protection, and reputation management. These lessons were critical, given that reputation could dictate long-term earning potential and personal safety. Personal reflection often punctuated the quieter moments of evening. Many women considered their lives, family obligations, and future plans, while some sought to remain in the profession long-term. Others viewed it as a temporary measure to achieve economic goals or personal freedom. Mental resilience was paramount, balancing the stigma of social perception, the physical demands of work, and the unpredictability of clients required a strong, adaptive mindset. Writing letters, praying to Venus or Fortuna, or engaging in small acts of self-care provided emotional sustenance. As night deepened, the city quieted, but work did not always end. Some women moved to more secluded locations for high-paying private clients, while others prepared for the next day. The ritual of cleaning, bathing, and reflecting repeated itself. Each day, a cycle of preparation, social engagement, negotiation, and survival. Through these routines, Roman prostitutes demonstrated agency, skill, and a complex understanding of human interaction. Their days were far more than mere transactions. They were a blend of strategy, performance, resilience, and adaptation in a society that both relied upon and marginalized them. The world of Roman prostitution was not confined to a single type of workspace. Rather, it spanned a spectrum from the organized, semi-official brothels. Each location carried its own set of opportunities, risks, and social dynamics. And mastering these spaces was crucial for survival and profit. Brothels, or lupanaria, were the most structured and commercially oriented venues. These establishments were often located in busy urban neighborhoods, close to marketplaces or public baths, to attract a steady stream of clients. Architecturally, brothels were designed for efficiency. Small rooms lined along narrow corridors, each equipped with a raised platform or stone bed, minimal furnishings, and sometimes subtle indicators of which women were available. Walls were adorned with graffiti depicting sexual acts, or even pricing offering clients both visual entertainment and practical information. Women working in brothels often had agreements with the leno, or brothel owner, who provided space and sometimes security in exchange for a portion of earnings. This arrangement offered protection and a reliable location for work, but also imposed rules and oversight. Experienced prostitutes navigated these relationships carefully, balancing compliance with autonomy. A skilled woman could negotiate more favorable terms, choose higher-paying clients, or even secure temporary exclusivity within a room, demonstrating a professional understanding of workplace politics centuries ahead of modern labor structures. In contrast, street-based prostitution demanded different strategies. The streets and forums of Rome teemed with potential clients, from laborers and soldiers to affluent merchants. Here, visibility and approachability were paramount. Women had to read crowds, identify promising patrons, and signal availability discreetly. Gestures, posture, and clothing became an intricate language of invitation, while subtle glances or movements could indicate willingness or readiness. Street work came with significant risks. Roman law occasionally targeted prostitution, and patrolling authorities could impose fines or arrest women for public indecency. Additionally, street-based prostitutes were more exposed to harassment or violence from drunk or unruly clients. Survival required acute situational awareness, quick judgment, and sometimes physical readiness to disengage or flee. Women often developed a network of safe corners, allies among tavern owners, and informal signaling systems to avoid dangerous situations. Despite these challenges, street work offered autonomy. Women could set their own hours, choose clients, and retain all earnings, unlike in brothels, where a share went to the owner. Skilled street prostitutes often became adept at reading the city, understanding the rhythms of foot traffic, festivals, or market days to maximize opportunities. The streets themselves became a canvas for their craft, blending performance, commerce, and strategic planning. Additionally, street-based work allowed for experimentation and self-branding. Women could cultivate a unique persona, adopt distinctive clothing styles, and establish reputations in certain neighborhoods. Reputation was crucial. Word of mouth could increase client flow, attract high-paying patrons, and provide informal protection through social recognition. In this sense, Roman prostitutes were both entrepreneurs and social navigators, managing their presence, perception, and professional network in a constantly shifting urban environment. While brothels and street corners were well-known venues, a significant portion of Roman prostitution took place in more nuanced and socially complex spaces: public baths, taverns, and private client homes. These locations demanded adaptability, social intelligence, and a deep understanding of Roman etiquette. As interactions were entwined with public life, social networks, and reputation management, public baths, thermae, were central to Roman daily life, functioning as both hygiene centers and social hubs. Here, prostitutes found a unique intersection of visibility and opportunity. The baths were segmented into areas for changing, bathing, massage, and relaxation, allowing women to interact with clients in semi-private or semi-public spaces. A casual encounter might begin during the shared ritual of bathing, with subtle gestures or glances signaling availability. The steamy, communal environment provided a natural cover for discreet negotiations, while the luxury of certain baths allowed access to wealthier patrons. Bath-based prostitution required skillful blending of appearance, social grace, and conversation. A prostitute had to maintain hygiene meticulously, as clients expected cleanliness and personal care, yet also present herself attractively and confidently. Oils, scented powders, and well-groomed hair were essential, alongside the ability to engage in light conversation that could charm or entice a prospective patron. Some women specialized in certain baths where specific social classes frequented, thus tailoring their approach and services to match client expectations. Taverns, tabernae, or popinae offered another dynamic space. Unlike the baths, taverns were noisy, crowded, and filled with intoxicated patrons. Here, prostitutes needed resilience and a keen sense of timing. Alcohol lowered inhibitions, but also increased risk, as drunk clients could become aggressive or unpredictable. Women often positioned themselves near tables or counters, subtly signaling interest while observing group dynamics. Tavern owners sometimes facilitated introductions or discreet arrangements, creating symbiotic relationships where both women and proprietors benefited financially. Private client spaces, such as rented rooms, villas, or secluded homes, represented a more exclusive and potentially lucrative avenue. Access to these spaces often required negotiation skills and trust building, as clients expected discretion, loyalty, and sometimes extended companionship. Women operating in private venues could command higher fees, enjoy greater autonomy, and cultivate repeat clients, though this also exposed them to significant personal risk as isolation increased vulnerability. Experienced prostitutes carefully evaluated each opportunity, balancing the potential reward against the inherent danger of working alone with strangers. In all these spaces, adaptability was paramount. Roman prostitutes were constantly adjusting strategies to the environment, projecting charm in baths, navigating chaos in taverns, and exercising caution in private settings. Social observation was as vital as physical presentation, with women learning to read subtle cues, body language, tone of voice, and situational context to anticipate client behavior. Moreover, they developed a sophisticated understanding of Roman law and custom, knowing which interactions were legally permissible, which could invite fines or arrests, and how to maintain a positive reputation despite widespread social stigma. These varied workspaces illustrate the diversity and complexity of Roman prostitution. Far from a uniform or simplistic profession, it encompassed a spectrum of activities that required intelligence, strategy, and emotional resilience. Women navigated public visibility, private discretion, and economic calculation simultaneously, mastering each environment to survive, earn, and sometimes thrive in a society that was both dependent on and judgmental of their labor. As the Roman sun set and the city transitioned from day to night, the rhythm of prostitution shifted accordingly. Nighttime offered both opportunity and heightened risk as clients sought privacy, and social norms became more relaxed or, in some cases, more dangerous. Roman prostitutes had to be experts in discretion, adaptability, and risk management to navigate this unpredictable period effectively. The evening often began with strategic positioning. Women who worked in brothels prepared rooms for clients, ensuring beds were clean, oils were available, and lighting, typically from lamps or torches, was arranged to create a welcoming but controlled environment. Brothels offered protection compared to the streets, but disputes with clients, disagreements with the leno, or competition with other women still required careful handling. Experienced prostitutes understood the importance of negotiation, maintaining boundaries, and asserting authority within these semi-official spaces. Street-based prostitutes faced even greater challenges at night. While the streets were quieter than during the day, darkness obscured vision and increased vulnerability. Women had to maintain high awareness of surroundings, avoid potentially hostile individuals, and recognize safe havens along their routes. Some relied on local taverns, inns, or allies among shopkeepers to provide temporary refuge or warnings of danger. The ability to assess risk quickly and react decisively was a crucial survival skill, often distinguishing seasoned women from novices. Client discretion was another critical consideration. Wealthy patrons sought privacy to avoid social scandal, while women needed to protect their reputations and safety. Many private meetings occurred in rented rooms, villas, or secluded parts of the city, and trust building was essential. Experienced prostitutes learned to read cues that indicated a client's intentions and temperament, negotiating not just services and fees, but also the level of privacy and security required for the encounter. Financial calculation remained central to nighttime work. Women tracked payments meticulously, often keeping hidden ledgers or memory-based accounting of clients, services rendered, and debts owed. The stakes were higher at night because the potential rewards were often greater, but so were the risks. Financial exploitation, robbery, or violent encounters could turn lucrative nights into dangerous ones. The combination of economic acumen, social intelligence, and physical vigilance allowed prostitutes to navigate these challenges with remarkable skill. Emotional resilience was continually tested. Nighttime work was physically exhausting and mentally taxing, requiring quick decision-making and constant alertness. Many women developed personal coping strategies, from brief rituals of reflection and prayer to small acts of self-care such as washing or perfuming themselves after difficult encounters. Bonds formed with other women, sharing knowledge and offering protection, provided additional support in an environment that could otherwise be isolating and perilous. Ultimately, nighttime work exemplified the sophistication and agency inherent in Roman prostitution. Women were not merely passive participants. They actively managed their environments, evaluated risks, negotiated agreements, and maintained social networks. Their expertise allowed them to operate in spaces that were both socially complex and physically dangerous, demonstrating a level of professional skill, intelligence, and resilience often overlooked in historical narratives. In ancient Rome, the life of a prostitute was inextricably linked to the people who hired their services. These patrons came from all levels of Roman society, from wealthy senators and equestrians to soldiers, merchants, and ordinary laborers. Understanding the motivations, behaviors, and expectations of these clients was not merely a practical matter. It was a sophisticated form of social intelligence that determined a prostitute's ability to survive, thrive, and command respect in a world that was both economically and morally complex. Roman society was hierarchical and highly stratified, meaning that the interaction between prostitute and client was never merely transactional. It was layered with subtle social cues, power dynamics, and the constant need for discretion. Wealthy patrons often had specific expectations of behavior, appearance, and secrecy. Senators, for example, frequently sought encounters that maintained a veneer of propriety, preferring discreet arrangements within private spaces such as villas, secluded rooms, or upper-tier baths. These interactions demanded politeness, refined conversation, and the ability to match the client's social comportment alongside the professional services expected. Equestrians and merchants presented a slightly different set of challenges. While not as politically scrutinized as senators, these clients valued efficiency, discretion, and often repeated services from women who had proven their reliability. Relationships with such clients could develop into long-term arrangements, creating a quasi-contractual system where trust, loyalty, and mutual understanding governed interactions. Many prostitutes cultivated such regular patrons deliberately, understanding that these connections offered financial stability, protection, and sometimes even social leverage within their neighborhoods. Soldiers and lower-class men, while offering smaller fees on average, formed a significant segment of the client base. These patrons were less concerned with ritual or propriety, and more focused on immediate gratification and accessibility. Street-based prostitutes often catered to these clients, employing strategies that emphasized visibility, charm, and approachability. Negotiation here was often brisk and pragmatic. Fees, services, and timing had to be clarified quickly, and the ability to manage aggressive or unpredictable behavior was essential. Survival skills in these encounters were as critical as the physical or social performance demanded in wealthier interactions. An often overlooked aspect of these social dynamics was the role of reputation. Roman prostitutes operated in a society that both depended upon their services and stigmatized their profession. Word of mouth, rumors, and local gossip could significantly influence a woman's career. A prostitute known for discretion, intelligence, or charm could attract high-status clients and command premium fees. Conversely, a reputation for unreliability or public scandal could drastically reduce opportunities and even invite physical danger. Consequently, social skill was not just advantageous, it was essential for survival. Managing multiple client types required meticulous planning. Many prostitutes kept mental or written records of who had been served, their payment history, and behavioral tendencies. This enabled them to prioritize clients based on profitability, safety, or ease of interaction. They also learned to read subtle nonverbal cues: hesitation, body posture, eye contact that indicated mood, interest, or potential aggression. Understanding these nuances could prevent conflict, increase client satisfaction, and foster repeat business. The negotiation of fees was another area where social understanding was crucial. While some clients expected standard rates posted at brothels or on informal street boards, others negotiated individually based on perceived desirability, exclusivity, or personal rapport. Women who could gauge the client's willingness to pay, the value of their own services, and the local market rate demonstrated professional acumen akin to that of modern entrepreneurs. In many cases, the negotiation process itself was performative, blending charm, assertiveness, and strategic timing to maximize both income and client satisfaction. Beyond individual clients, larger social dynamics played a role. For example, Roman festivals, market days, and public games dramatically altered client behavior and opportunity. During festivals, wealthy men often sought indulgence in ways that were more public, but could still be discreetly negotiated within certain spaces like temporary tents, taverns, or bathhouses. Knowledge of the calendar, local customs, and even political events allowed prostitutes to plan their activities strategically, maximizing earnings while mitigating potential hazards. Interactions were further complicated by legal and social restrictions. While prostitution was technically legal in Rome, laws regarding public decency, licensing, and taxes required women to be vigilant. Some clients were wary of legal entanglements or preferred encounters in spaces that provided safety from civic authorities. Prostitutes needed to understand these constraints to protect themselves, ensure smooth transactions, and maintain favorable relationships with patrons who could offer long-term security. Emotional intelligence was as critical as social and economic skill. Prostitutes had to navigate client moods, egos, and personal desires, often acting as confidants, entertainers, or counselors. A wealthy patron might seek intellectual conversation alongside physical services, while a lower-class client might desire camaraderie and reassurance. Balancing these roles required adaptability, keen perception, and the ability to maintain professional boundaries while providing satisfaction. Finally, it is important to recognize the agency inherent in these interactions. Contrary to the stereotype of passive subjugation, Roman prostitutes were active participants in shaping their professional lives. By understanding clients' expectations, social hierarchies, and legal boundaries, women could make informed decisions about where, when, and with whom to work. They exercised choice, negotiated terms, and maintained networks of mutual support, demonstrating a level of strategic sophistication that modern observers might underestimate. The dynamic between client and prostitute in Rome was therefore multifaceted, encompassing economics, social intelligence, emotional labor, and personal safety. Every encounter was a negotiation not only of physical services, but of social positioning, reputation management, and long-term survival. Understanding patrons was not optional. It was a cornerstone of professional competence, shaping daily routines, career longevity, and overall well-being. The life of a Roman prostitute was not merely defined by physical labor. Far more critical were the intricate social and emotional skills employed daily. Beyond the visible transaction of payment for services, prostitutes engaged in subtle forms of client manipulation, emotional labor, and negotiation of power, shaping interactions in ways that maximized safety, income, and social positioning. These skills required intelligence, perception, and foresight, reflecting a sophisticated understanding of human behavior that was essential for survival in the complex world of Roman society. Client manipulation was not about coercion in the modern sense, but rather strategic influence. Prostitutes learned to observe, interpret, and respond to clients' desires, moods, and insecurities. A wealthy patron seeking affirmation of status might respond positively to flattery, careful attention to appearance, or intellectual conversation. A soldier might be soothed or entertained through humor, empathy, or companionship. By tailoring interactions to individual psychology, women increased the likelihood of repeat business, higher fees, and a safer working environment. Some prostitutes developed signature techniques. For example, they could offer incremental gestures of affection or attention, rewarding desired client behavior and creating a sense of attachment or loyalty. Subtle praise, attentiveness, and responsiveness were tools that allowed women to maintain control of the transaction while still appearing compliant or indulgent. This manipulation was transactional, rooted in professional necessity rather than emotional exploitation, reflecting the nuanced interplay between economic survival and interpersonal skill. Emotional labor was equally critical. Prostitutes often became confidants, entertainers, and companions, in addition to providing sexual services. Clients frequently sought validation, companionship, or the appearance of intimacy, particularly in a society where social boundaries and public scrutiny constrained emotional expression. Women were expected to maintain composure, empathy, and attentiveness, often masking personal emotions or stress to meet client expectations. This labor was mentally exhausting, requiring constant vigilance and emotional flexibility. Yet it was vital for building trust, loyalty, and continued patronage. Balancing emotional engagement with professional boundaries was an art form. Prostitutes needed to project warmth, interest, and understanding while remaining aware of personal risk and economic priorities. Overly revealing personal feelings could expose them to exploitation or manipulation, while detachment risked alienating clients. Skilled women navigated this balance through experience, intuition, and careful observation, learning to calibrate their responses to each individual's personality and situation. Power dynamics between client and prostitute were complex and situational. In some encounters, the client wielded financial or social power, and the prostitute had to navigate this imbalance carefully. In other contexts, women exercised considerable influence, particularly when their skills, reputation, or specialized services were in high demand. The ability to negotiate terms, set boundaries, and choose which clients to engage with represented a form of agency often overlooked by contemporary observers. This dynamic meant that prostitutes were not passive participants but active negotiators, constantly assessing risk, reward, and leverage. The manipulation of perception played a crucial role. Roman society often judged women harshly for their profession, yet a prostitute's appearance, demeanor, and reputation could create a protective social aura. Women cultivated allure, charm, and social networks to manage how they were perceived both publicly and privately. Reputation, carefully maintained, became a tool for negotiating fees, attracting clients, and ensuring safety. The ability to project confidence, skill, and reliability often allowed women to command respect, despite social stigma. Prostitutes also needed to manage group dynamics. Competition existed among women, but collaboration was often essential for survival. Sharing information about dangerous clients, legal patrols, or high-value opportunities helped create informal protective networks. In some neighborhoods, women formed quasi-alliances to control access to lucrative locations, regulate client flow, and provide mutual support. This social intelligence extended to subtle hierarchy within the profession, where experience, reputation, and social skill dictated status and influence. The broader context of Roman society added additional layers of complexity. Laws regulating public decency, taxation, and licensing meant that every interaction carried potential legal consequences. Wealthy clients might expect discretion or immunity, while street-based encounters were fraught with surveillance risk. Women had to navigate not only interpersonal dynamics, but also civic regulations, balancing compliance with personal safety and financial gain. Knowledge of legal limits, customary expectations, and social norms was indispensable. Furthermore, the negotiation of services was not only physical, but psychological. Women frequently gauged client temperament before agreeing to specific arrangements, ensuring that personal safety was maintained. The ability to detect early signs of aggression, intoxication, or dishonesty could prevent dangerous situations. Experienced prostitutes often had pre-planned escape routes, signals for help from allies, or strategies to de-escalate tense interactions. This combination of emotional, social, and physical intelligence was a hallmark of professional competence. Long-term survival also depended on cultivating relationships that extended beyond immediate transactions. Repeat clients provided financial stability social leverage, and sometimes access to higher social circles. Women could convert loyalty into economic advantage by offering special services, preferential attention, or personalized care, creating a quasi-clientele system resembling modern service industries. In this way, the professional skill set of a Roman prostitute encompassed negotiation, emotional insight, strategic planning, and social navigation, rather than mere sexual performance. Finally, it is important to recognize that these strategies were developed within a society that was simultaneously dependent upon and judgmental of prostitution. Women balanced the necessity of earning a living with the constant threat of social condemnation, legal restriction, and personal danger. Their daily lives were a continuous exercise in agency, intelligence, and adaptation, blending emotional labor, strategic manipulation, and professional skill into a complex, high-stakes occupation. Through understanding client psychology, exercising emotional labor, and navigating power dynamics, Roman prostitutes demonstrated resilience, acumen, and strategic expertise. These women were not passive participants in their social world. They were active, intelligent, and adaptive professionals, operating in an environment that required constant vigilance, negotiation, and skillful management of relationships. Their work encompassed far more than the physical. It demanded mastery of human behavior, social hierarchies, and personal risk management, all of which contributed to their survival and professional success. In the intricate web of Roman society, the daily lives of prostitutes extended far beyond the immediate transaction of money for services. For these women, reputation, social influence, and long-term survival strategies were central pillars of professional life. Navigating these factors demanded acute intelligence, foresight, and emotional resilience, forming a framework through which a prostitute could maintain safety, secure income, and assert agency in a world often hostile to her profession. Reputation functioned as a form of currency in ancient Rome, sometimes even more valuable than immediate financial gain. A prostitute known for discretion, charm, and skill attracted high-paying, loyal clients while avoiding dangerous or dishonorable individuals. Conversely, women perceived as reckless, untrustworthy, or indiscreet risked not only financial loss but also social ostracism, harassment, or violent encounters. This social currency required constant maintenance. Every gesture, interaction, and negotiation had implications for the broader perception of a woman's character and professional reliability. Maintaining a favorable reputation involved strategic behavior in multiple spheres. Publicly, prostitutes projected confidence, cleanliness, and professionalism. Street-based women displayed charm and attentiveness to draw clients, while simultaneously signaling prudence and reliability to the surrounding community. Within brothels or private spaces, the women's ability to manage client expectations, provide emotional engagement, and demonstrate discretion reinforced their standing among patrons and colleagues alike. These practices formed a delicate balance, as excessive visibility risked legal scrutiny, while too little presence could reduce opportunity. Social influence also played a pivotal role. Prostitutes often cultivated networks of allies within their neighborhoods, including other women, tavern owners, bathhouse attendants, and even sympathetic citizens. These connections provided access to clients, protection against potential threats, and informal intelligence about legal enforcement or local gossip. Skilled women leveraged these networks to shape the flow of patronage and maintain dominance within a competitive marketplace. Such influence was subtle, rooted in reputation, trust, and mutual benefit rather than overt coercion, but it significantly enhanced long-term stability. Another dimension of survival was relationship management. Long-term financial security often depended on repeat clients and loyal patronage. Prostitutes cultivated these relationships through consistent performance, attentiveness, and personalized service. Loyalty was reinforced by careful negotiation of expectations, timing, and discretion. Some women even used small gifts, gestures of care, or preferential attention to strengthen client attachment. These relationships could provide economic predictability, social leverage, and occasionally access to elite circles otherwise closed to women of lower status. Strategic specialization emerged as a common long-term approach. Women might develop expertise catering to a particular type of client, wealthy officials, soldiers, or foreign merchants, allowing them to refine services, adjust communication styles, and enhance personal appeal. Specialization increased earning potential and reduced risk by ensuring that the woman was operating within her sphere of competence. Knowledge of client habits, local customs, and social expectations further enhanced her ability to succeed consistently. Financial foresight was inseparable from reputation and social influence. Roman prostitutes meticulously managed earnings, balancing immediate expenditures on food, clothing, and personal hygiene with longer-term investments such as room rent, protective payments, or bribes for legal security. Some women even accumulated savings sufficient to exit the profession temporarily or permanently, demonstrating strategic planning and discipline. The ability to combine short-term survival with long-term financial security was a hallmark of professional skill. Distinguishing the experienced from the novice, the psychological dimension of long-term survival cannot be understated. Emotional resilience was essential for coping with the stigma, danger, and physical demands of the profession. Daily rituals, private reflection, prayer to deities such as Venus or Fortuna, and the cultivation of supportive friendships provided emotional sustenance. Mental discipline allowed women to maintain boundaries, respond to client behavior strategically, and recover from difficult encounters without compromising professional integrity. Navigating social hierarchies was another critical factor. Roman society placed prostitutes at a low status in official terms, but in practice, skilled women could exert influence over certain social circles. Wealthy clients might offer protection, political insight, or indirect social leverage, especially if the woman had cultivated long-term relationships and maintained impeccable discretion. Understanding and maneuvering within these hierarchies required careful observation, adaptability, and strategic communication. Reflecting a sophisticated grasp of social dynamics, community and mentorship further enhanced long-term survival. Experienced women often guided younger or novice prostitutes, teaching them the subtleties of negotiation, client assessment, legal awareness, and social interaction. These informal mentorship networks strengthened the profession as a whole, creating safety nets and reinforcing norms of conduct that minimized risk. By sharing knowledge, women increased the resilience of their social and economic networks, demonstrating collective intelligence and agency. Finally, long-term survival encompassed adaptation to changing conditions. Economic fluctuations, legal enforcement, public festivals, or shifts in client demand required continual reassessment of strategy. Women who could read these signals and adjust location, style, client focus, or negotiation approach were more likely to maintain consistent income, avoid danger, and preserve reputation. Flexibility, foresight, and situational intelligence were thus essential components of professional longevity. In sum, Roman prostitutes navigated a complex intersection of reputation, social influence, financial acumen, emotional labor, and risk management. Far from passive participants, they were active, intelligent, and strategic operators within a demanding social system. Reputation was both shield and currency. Relationships offered protection and stability, and adaptability ensured resilience in the face of physical, social, and economic hazards. By integrating these strategies into daily routines, Roman prostitutes demonstrated professional competence, autonomy, and long-term survival skills that were deeply sophisticated, reflecting a level of social intelligence often underestimated by modern observers. In the bustling urban centers of ancient Rome, prostitution was both a profession and a perilous undertaking. While it offered women economic opportunities, it also exposed them to a wide spectrum of risks, ranging from physical violence to legal repercussions, social ostracism, and health hazards. Understanding these threats and developing coping mechanisms was crucial for survival, making Roman prostitutes highly skilled in assessing, navigating, and mitigating danger. One of the most immediate threats was physical violence, which could occur in multiple contexts. Street-based prostitutes faced harassment or assault from passers-by, drunk men, or jealous spouses. The streets were crowded and often poorly lit, especially in the narrow alleyways and insulae of densely populated neighborhoods. Women had to maintain constant vigilance, learning to read body language, detect potential aggression, and identify escape routes. Awareness of urban geographies, such as shortcuts, allies' homes, or safe taverns, was critical for immediate survival. Brothels, while offering relative security, were not immune to violence. Disputes could arise over client behavior, fees, or competition among women. In some cases, the leno or brothel owner could exert control using intimidation or force, particularly with younger or less experienced prostitutes. Women had to navigate these power dynamics carefully, asserting autonomy when possible, while avoiding open confrontation that could jeopardize safety or income. Legal risk was another constant concern. While prostitution itself was legal in ancient Rome, various laws regulated public behavior, taxation, and licensing. Women operating in public spaces risked fines or arrest for perceived indecency or for failing to meet civic requirements. Patrols by authorities increased during public events, religious ceremonies, or festival days, when the streets were crowded and scrutiny heightened. Knowledge of local laws, civic schedules, and enforcement patterns was essential to avoid penalties and maintain continuous income. Health hazards also posed a serious threat. With limited understanding of disease transmission, prostitutes were at high risk for sexually transmitted infections, STS, injuries, and other physical ailments. Public baths, while socially central and lucrative for meeting clients, could also facilitate the spread of disease. Women mitigated risks through personal hygiene rituals, careful selection of clients, and sometimes by employing herbal remedies or early forms of protective measures, though these methods were imperfect. Physical endurance and resilience were therefore as critical as social skill in sustaining long-term professional life. Social stigma added another layer of danger. Roman society often marginalized prostitutes, branding them as morally suspect, regardless of economic necessity. This stigma exposed women to gossip, exclusion from social networks, and potential blackmail. Discretion in client interactions, avoidance of public scandal, and careful management of personal reputation were crucial to reducing these social hazards. A single misstep could cascade into multiple problems, affecting income, safety, and community standing. Despite these dangers, Roman prostitutes developed sophisticated coping mechanisms. One of the most common strategies was forming alliances with fellow women, sharing information about dangerous clients, law enforcement patterns, or safe spaces created a protective network that enhanced survival for all involved. Mentorship between experienced and novice prostitutes helped young women learn these strategies, creating continuity and resilience within the profession. Prostitutes also cultivated relationships with patrons that offered protection. High-status clients, if satisfied and treated with discretion, could act as informal guarantors, discouraging harassment or interference from lower-class aggressors. Repeat patrons not only provided financial stability, but also created social leverage, as their influence could be invoked to resolve disputes or deter threats. These strategic relationships were a form of social armor, leveraging client networks for safety and long-term survival. Psychological coping mechanisms were equally essential. The work demanded continuous emotional labor, projecting charm, interest, and composure, regardless of personal feelings or fatigue. Many women developed private rituals to manage stress, such as prayer, meditation, writing letters, or brief social interactions with trusted companions. Emotional resilience allowed them to maintain professional boundaries while navigating high-stakes interactions with clients, authorities, and peers. Economic strategies also intersected with risk management. Women often prioritized high-paying clients over lower-value opportunities, balancing income with potential exposure to danger. Location choice, timing, and client screening were deliberate decisions informed by both social observation and prior experience. Financial planning, such as saving a portion of earnings for emergencies or investing in personal protection, enhanced security and reduced vulnerability to unexpected events. Adaptability was a hallmark of coping in Roman prostitution. Women adjusted strategies according to changing circumstances, moving from street work to brothels or taverns, altering behavior based on client type, and negotiating services or fees to maintain both profitability and safety. This flexibility required constant situational awareness, critical thinking, and the ability to respond swiftly to threats, whether physical, social, or legal. In summary, the risks faced by Roman prostitutes were multidimensional, encompassing physical danger, legal challenges, health hazards, and social stigma. Survival demanded a combination of vigilance, social intelligence, emotional resilience, and strategic adaptability. The coping mechanisms developed from alliances and mentorship to client networks and psychological rituals demonstrate that Roman prostitutes were far more than passive victims of circumstance. They were skilled, resourceful, and adaptive professionals navigating an environment that required constant awareness and strategic action. In the bustling urban centers of ancient Rome, prostitution was both a profession and a perilous undertaking. While it offered women economic opportunities, it also exposed them to a wide spectrum of risks, ranging from physical violence to legal repercussions, social ostracism, and health hazards. Understanding these threats and developing coping mechanisms was crucial for survival, making Roman prostitutes highly skilled in assessing, navigating, and mitigating danger. One of the most immediate threats was physical violence, which could occur in multiple contexts. Street-based prostitutes faced harassment or assault from passers-by, drunk men, or jealous spouses. The streets were crowded and often poorly lit, especially in the narrow alleyways and insulae of densely populated neighborhoods. Women had to maintain constant vigilance, learning to read body language, detect potential aggression, and identify escape routes. Awareness of urban geographies, such as shortcuts, allies' homes, or safe taverns, was critical for immediate survival. Brothels, while offering relative security, were not immune to violence. Disputes could arise over client behavior, fees, or competition among women. In some cases, the leno or brothel owner could exert control using intimidation or force, particularly with younger or less experienced prostitutes. Women had to navigate these power dynamics carefully, asserting autonomy when possible, while avoiding open confrontation that could jeopardize safety or income. Legal risk was another constant concern. While prostitution itself was legal in ancient Rome, various laws regulated public behavior, taxation, and licensing. Women operating in public spaces risked fines or arrest for perceived indecency or for failing to meet civic requirements. Patrols by authorities increased during public events, religious ceremonies, or festival days, when the streets were crowded and scrutiny heightened. Knowledge of local laws, civic schedules, and enforcement patterns was essential to avoid penalties and maintain continuous income. Health hazards also posed a serious threat. With limited understanding of disease transmission, prostitutes were at high risk for sexually transmitted infections, STIs, injuries, and other physical ailments. Public baths, while socially central and lucrative for meeting clients, could also facilitate the spread of disease. Women mitigated risks through personal hygiene rituals, careful selection of clients, and sometimes by employing herbal remedies or early forms of protective measures, though these methods were imperfect. Physical endurance and resilience were therefore as critical as social skill in sustaining long-term professional life. Social stigma added another layer of danger. Roman society often marginalized prostitutes, branding them as morally suspect, regardless of economic necessity. This stigma exposed women to gossip, exclusion from social networks, and potential blackmail. Discretion in client interactions, avoidance of public scandal, and careful management of personal reputation were crucial to reducing these social hazards. A single misstep could cascade into multiple problems, affecting income, safety, and community standing. Despite these dangers, Roman prostitutes developed sophisticated coping mechanisms. One of the most common strategies was forming alliances with fellow women. Sharing information about dangerous clients, law enforcement patterns, or safe spaces created a protective network that enhanced survival for all involved. Mentorship between experienced and novice prostitutes helped young women learn these strategies, creating continuity and resilience within the profession. Prostitutes also cultivated relationships with patrons that offered protection. High-status clients, if satisfied and treated with discretion, could act as informal guarantors, discouraging harassment or interference from lower-class aggressors. Repeat patrons not only provided financial stability, but also created social leverage, as their influence could be invoked to resolve disputes or deter threats. These strategic relationships were a form of social armor, leveraging client networks for safety and long-term survival. Psychological coping mechanisms were equally essential. The work demanded continuous emotional labor, projecting charm, interest, and composure, regardless of personal feelings or fatigue. Many women developed private rituals to manage stress, such as prayer, meditation, writing letters, or brief social interactions with trusted companions. Emotional resilience allowed them to maintain professional boundaries while navigating high-stakes interactions with clients, authorities, and peers. Economic strategies also intersected with risk management. Women often prioritized high-paying clients over lower-value opportunities, balancing income with potential exposure to danger. Location choice, timing, and client screening were deliberate decisions informed by both social observation and prior experience. Financial planning, such as saving a portion of earnings for emergencies or investing in personal protection, enhanced security and reduced vulnerability to unexpected events. Adaptability was a hallmark of coping in Roman prostitution. Women adjusted strategies according to changing circumstances, moving from street work to brothels or taverns, altering behavior based on client type, and negotiating services or fees to maintain both profitability and safety. This flexibility required constant situational awareness, critical thinking, and the ability to respond swiftly to threats, whether physical, social, or legal. In summary, the risks faced by Roman prostitutes were multidimensional, encompassing physical danger, legal challenges, health hazards, and social stigma. Survival demanded a combination of vigilance, social intelligence, emotional resilience, and strategic adaptability. The coping mechanisms developed from alliances and mentorship to client networks and psychological rituals demonstrate that Roman prostitutes were far more than passive victims of circumstance. They were skilled, resourceful, and adaptive professionals navigating an environment that required constant awareness and strategic action. The profession of a Roman prostitute demanded far more than physical skill or transactional acumen. It required an exceptional degree of psychological resilience. The daily pressures of the work, exposure to physical danger, emotional labor, social stigma, and economic uncertainty meant that survival depended on sophisticated coping strategies and robust social support systems. In many ways, psychological and communal strategies were as critical to long-term success as financial or spatial tactics. Emotional labor was central to the work of a Roman prostitute. Women were expected to engage with clients in ways that created satisfaction, intimacy, and loyalty, regardless of personal feelings. This required masking fear, fatigue, or frustration while projecting charm, empathy, and attentiveness. Emotional regulation was constant. A woman needed to respond appropriately to a drunk or irritable client, soothe anxieties, and maintain professional composure. Mastery of this labor was not innate. It was learned through experience, observation, and mentorship. The ability to separate professional persona from personal emotion allowed women to function effectively in high-stress environments. Coping strategies were both individual and ritualized. Many women turned to private reflection, prayer, or meditation to process the stresses of the day. Roman religious practice, particularly devotion to goddesses like Venus or Fortuna, provided frameworks for seeking protection, favor, or emotional reassurance. Small rituals, lighting lamps, offering coins, or silently reflecting on the day's interactions, offered a sense of control and spiritual security in a profession that often felt unpredictable. These routines were psychologically stabilizing, reinforcing the women's capacity to engage professionally while maintaining internal equilibrium. Community networks played a critical role in resilience. Experienced prostitutes often mentored younger or new entrants, teaching them the subtleties of negotiation, client assessment, and legal compliance. Alliances were formed not only for emotional support, but also for practical protection, such as warning about dangerous clients, law enforcement presence, or unsafe locations. These informal networks created a social infrastructure that enhanced both safety and professional competence. Collaboration within the community allowed women to share strategies, provide refuge, and negotiate collective norms that regulated behavior in shared spaces. The psychological benefit of social support cannot be overstated. Trustworthy companions offered validation, advice, and relief from isolation. In a society that marginalized their profession, these bonds mitigated the impact of stigma, reduced anxiety, and fostered a sense of shared identity. Small social rituals, such as gathering at a tavern after work, sharing food, or exchanging news, created opportunities for reflection, mutual aid, and emotional replenishment. These communal practices were crucial in sustaining resilience over months and years. Coping also involved strategic self-presentation beyond immediate client interactions. Roman prostitutes were acutely aware of the importance of reputation management, balancing visibility with discretion. Public displays of professionalism, cleanliness, and charm reinforced social credibility, attracting clients while deterring predation and harassment. Conversely, maintaining discretion in private matters minimized vulnerability to blackmail, rumor, or legal scrutiny. This duality being seen yet protected required cognitive flexibility and constant evaluation of social cues, highlighting the mental sophistication inherent in the profession. Health and physical coping intersected with psychological strategies. Women prioritized hygiene, dietary care, and personal grooming to sustain their ability to attract clients and maintain self-confidence. In an era of limited medical knowledge, proactive self-care, including herbal remedies, massages, and restorative baths functioned as both practical health maintenance and psychological reassurance. The act of caring for one's body reinforced a sense of agency, dignity, and control over circumstances that were otherwise often externally imposed long-term. Resilience was also grounded in financial and strategic foresight. Women who saved earnings, diversified client types, and invested in personal protection were better able to withstand economic fluctuations, seasonal variations in demand, or unexpected legal challenges. By combining financial prudence with social acumen and emotional regulation, Roman prostitutes created multi-layered resilience that protected both livelihood and well-being. Adaptation was a continuous process. Urban environments changed, legal enforcement shifted, and client behavior evolved with economic or political conditions. Resilient women demonstrated situational intelligence, adjusting work locations, client engagement strategies, and emotional labor in response to new circumstances. This adaptability was not only reactive, but also proactive, anticipating changes in festival schedules. Market activity or political unrest allowed women to position themselves advantageously, minimize exposure to risk, and maximize earning potential. Finally, psychological coping intersected with personal aspiration and reflection. Many women envisioned future goals, escaping the profession, supporting family, or achieving personal security. This long-term perspective provided motivation and emotional fortitude, transforming daily labor from mere survival into a purposeful strategy for self-determination. Maintaining hope, cultivating skills, and strategically navigating complex social and economic systems reinforced resilience, demonstrating the combination of intelligence, foresight, and psychological endurance that defined professional success in Roman prostitution. In conclusion, the long-term survival of Roman prostitutes depended not only on physical skill, social intelligence, and economic strategy, but also on psychological coping, community support, and adaptive resilience. Emotional labor, mentorship, networks, spiritual practices, and situational awareness created a multifaceted system of resilience, allowing women to navigate danger, social stigma, and unpredictable conditions with agency and sophistication. Their ability to integrate these strategies into daily life illustrates a level of professional, emotional, and social competence that is often underappreciated in historical accounts, highlighting the complex realities of survival, empowerment, and endurance in ancient Roman urban society. In ancient Rome, the profession of prostitution was deeply intertwined with economics. For women engaged in this work, survival and success depended not only on skill, charm, and social intelligence, but also on financial acumen. The ability to manage income, maximize profits, and strategically plan expenditures distinguished women who thrived from those who struggled. Economic strategies were crucial for both immediate survival and long-term social mobility, allowing some women to exert agency in a society that otherwise limited opportunities for female independence. Income management was the foundation of financial stability. Roman prostitutes earned money through a variety of avenues: brothel work, street solicitation, private clients, and specialized services catering to specific social classes. Each type of work offered different rates, risks, and demands. Brothel work often provided a steady flow of clients, but required sharing a portion of earnings with the leno or brothel owner. Street-based work allowed women to retain the entirety of their fees, but exposed them to greater danger and uncertainty. Private arrangements with wealthy patrons offered higher pay and sometimes gifts or loans, but required discretion, negotiation skills, and careful management of social relationships to manage these diverse income streams effectively. Prostitutes developed meticulous systems for tracking earnings and expenses. Some relied on wax tablets, written ledgers, or memorized accounting, recording payments, debts owed by clients, and recurring obligations to brothel owners or tavern keepers. This financial literacy enabled women to prioritize high-paying clients, identify repeat patrons, and allocate funds for necessities such as food, clothing, and room rent. The ability to accurately track income was essential for avoiding debt, planning for emergencies, and ensuring continued professional viability. Maximizing profit required strategic decision-making. Women learned to assess client potential based on social status, behavior, and willingness to pay. High-status patrons often offered not only larger fees, but also gifts, protection, and access to influential networks. Street-based women might focus on high-volume turnover to offset smaller fees, while brothel workers balanced steady clientele with opportunities for private arrangements. Seasonal events, festivals, and market days were identified in advance as periods of high demand, allowing women to increase earnings through intensified teller engagement or premium pricing. Diversification of services was another economic strategy. Prostitutes who offered specialized skills such as entertainment, massage, bathing assistance, or companionship could command higher fees and attract more discerning clients. Knowledge of languages, social etiquette, and even artistic abilities enhanced value in certain client segments, particularly among foreigners, merchants, or elite Romans. By combining multiple services, women created multiple income streams, reducing dependence on a single type of work and improving long-term financial security. Financial acumen extended to personal expenditure and investment. Women often allocated income not only to immediate needs but also to longer-term objectives, such as acquiring property, funding dowries, or saving for periods of illness or low client demand. Investment in personal appearance clothing, jewelry, perfumes, and grooming functioned as both a marketing tool and a form of financial security, increasing desirability and income potential. Even small purchases were calculated to maximize return on investment, reflecting a nuanced understanding of economic leverage within their profession. Social mobility was an aspirational goal for some prostitutes. While societal norms limited women's formal opportunities, wealth accumulation enabled certain women to achieve improved social standing, secure independence, or exert influence within their communities. Financially successful prostitutes could rent or own housing, provide for family members, or establish long-term relationships with patrons who offered protection and social leverage. Wealth allowed women to participate in social networks that were otherwise inaccessible, increasing both security and opportunity. Patronage networks played a central role in economic strategy. Long-term loyal clients often provided predictable income, gifts, or introductions to other patrons. Maintaining these relationships required skillful negotiation, emotional labor, and discretion. Women who cultivated these networks effectively could reduce financial uncertainty, increase profitability, and gain access to social circles that facilitated upward mobility. Patronage also offered indirect protection. Influential clients could deter harassment or legal scrutiny, providing additional value beyond immediate income. Risk assessment was intertwined with financial planning. Women constantly evaluated potential income opportunities against physical, social, and legal dangers. Engaging with a high-paying client could yield significant profit, but also carry heightened risk of violence, betrayal, or social exposure. Similarly, working in high-traffic public spaces increased income potential, but also vulnerability. Successful prostitutes combined economic insight with situational awareness, ensuring that profit maximization did not come at the cost of safety or long-term sustainability. Community support reinforced economic stability. Experienced women often shared insights about profitable locations, high-value clients, and emerging market trends. Collaborative networks facilitated the sharing of financial knowledge, safe strategies, and mentorship, enabling less experienced women to learn the economic intricacies of the profession. These networks also functioned as informal financial systems, allowing women to pool resources, provide temporary loans, or offer mutual assistance in times of need. Ultimately, economic success in Roman prostitution required integration of multiple strategies: meticulous income management, client assessment, service diversification, investment in personal appearance, and cultivation of patronage networks. Women who mastered these skills not only ensured immediate survival, but also created pathways for improved social standing and personal autonomy. Their financial intelligence, strategic foresight, and adaptability exemplify a sophisticated form of professional expertise that challenges modern assumptions about historical prostitution. Beyond daily earnings, Roman prostitutes understood the importance of long-term financial planning and investment. While the work itself provided immediate income, strategic allocation of funds allowed some women to achieve lasting economic security, social influence, and even avenues of upward mobility. The combination of savings, property acquisition, and financial foresight illustrates the remarkable professionalism and sophistication of these women in navigating a society with limited opportunities for female independence. Savings and financial discipline were essential first steps in building wealth. Experienced prostitutes often set aside portions of daily or weekly earnings for future use, creating a buffer against periods of low client activity, illness, or legal fines. These savings were typically hidden carefully, sometimes buried or kept in private compartments within their living spaces to prevent theft or seizure. Financial prudence also allowed women to plan for significant expenditures, such as investing in personal appearance, relocating to safer neighborhoods, or enhancing their professional reputation. Investment in personal assets was another key strategy. Clothing, jewelry, perfumes, and cosmetic items were not mere luxuries. They were tangible investments in marketability. High-quality attire and adornments attracted wealthier clients, justified premium fees, and enhanced social credibility. Women carefully balanced these purchases against potential returns, understanding that the appearance of wealth and refinement directly influenced client perception and willingness to pay. In this way, personal expenditure functioned both as immediate professional enhancement and long-term investment in economic stability. Property acquisition was a significant milestone for financially successful prostitutes. Some women were able to purchase or rent private living spaces, providing independence from brothels or shared accommodations. Ownership or control of property offered multiple advantages. It reduced vulnerability to landlords or brothel owners, allowed for private client arrangements, and provided collateral or assets that could be leveraged for social or economic benefit. In rare cases, women who accumulated substantial wealth could invest in multiple properties, using rental income or other returns to diversify income streams. Property also conferred status within the local community, signaling both financial success and autonomy. Strategic patronage complemented financial investment. Wealthy and loyal clients were not only sources of immediate income, but also conduits for economic opportunities. Some patrons provided loans, gifts, or introductions to influential circles, effectively serving as informal financial backers. Women who nurtured these relationships could leverage client networks for business expansion, protection, or access to resources otherwise unavailable. These alliances reinforced both short-term profit and long-term stability, demonstrating the intersection of social intelligence and financial strategy. Risk management remained intertwined with economic strategy. Investing in property or high-value personal assets carried potential dangers, such as theft, fraud, or political instability. Women mitigated these risks through careful selection of locations, trusted intermediaries, and discreet financial management. For example, some employed agents or confidants to handle transactions, while others diversified holdings across multiple properties or asset types to avoid catastrophic loss. This risk-aware approach demonstrates the sophisticated financial literacy of Roman prostitutes, who balanced ambition with prudence. Education and skill acquisition were indirectly linked to wealth accumulation. Women who developed specialized skills, entertainment, music, artistic abilities, or multilingual communication could attract elite clients willing to pay premium fees. Investments in personal education or training represented a form of long-term economic strategy, enhancing both income potential and social leverage. These intangible assets were as crucial as tangible wealth, providing a competitive edge in a profession where client choice was highly selective. Community collaboration further reinforced long-term financial stability. Experienced prostitutes shared insights on profitable ventures, investment opportunities, and effective management of client relationships. Mentorship networks allowed younger women to learn strategies for savings, property management, and income diversification. These communal systems acted as informal financial institutions, pooling knowledge, resources, and protection to mitigate individual risk while enhancing collective prosperity. Adaptability to changing economic conditions was essential. Festivals, political events, military movements, and market fluctuations could dramatically affect client availability and fee structures. Women who monitored these variables and adjusted their services, locations, or pricing accordingly maintained income stability and leveraged opportunities for profit maximization. This proactive approach illustrates the strategic thinking required to sustain both short-term and long-term financial success. Exit strategies and legacy planning were considered by some financially savvy women. By accumulating wealth and assets, prostitutes could eventually leave the profession, invest in business ventures, or secure financial support for family members. Some even arranged dowries or endowments, transforming earnings from temporary work into enduring social and economic influence. This capacity for forward planning underscores a level of foresight and sophistication often underappreciated in historical narratives. In summary, long-term wealth management for Roman prostitutes involved savings, strategic investment, property acquisition, risk management, skill development, and patronage networks. By integrating these strategies, women transformed immediate earnings into enduring security, professional leverage, and potential social mobility. Their ability to combine financial intelligence with social acumen and adaptability illustrates a remarkable level of professionalism, demonstrating that Roman prostitution, for many women, was not merely survival, but a carefully navigated path toward economic empowerment. For Roman prostitutes, economic strategy was inseparable from the pursuit of social mobility and personal independence. While societal structures largely constrained women, the careful management of income, strategic relationships with patrons, and investment in skills and property created pathways to influence, autonomy, and long-term stability. The interplay of wealth, reputation, and social acumen allowed some women not only to survive, but to exert meaningful agency in an environment that was often hostile to their independence. Social mobility in ancient Rome was rarely straightforward for women of lower status, but prostitutes could leverage financial success to elevate their position. Wealth accumulation enabled women to secure private residences, engage in commerce, or participate in social networks normally inaccessible to lower-class citizens. This economic empowerment translated into practical advantages: greater safety, freedom from exploitative brothel arrangements, and the ability to negotiate terms of service with clients on more favorable conditions. In some cases, women were able to transition into other professions, manage small businesses, or arrange strategic marriages, using their financial leverage to facilitate social advancement. Influence through patronage played a pivotal role in long-term mobility. Wealthy and loyal clients could provide not only protection, but also introductions to influential circles, access to opportunities for additional income, and social credibility. By cultivating strong patronage networks, prostitutes transformed client relationships into channels for upward movement. Some women, particularly those with intelligence, charm, and skill, became well-known figures within their communities, respected by clients and peers alike for their strategic acumen and professional reliability. This influence extended beyond immediate economic benefit, positioning them as social actors capable of shaping interactions, reputations, and opportunities. Autonomy and independence were central objectives for many prostitutes. The ability to control one's work environment, choosing clients, setting fees, and deciding on work location was both a survival mechanism and a means of asserting personal agency. Women who owned or rented private property had greater freedom to operate outside brothels, reducing reliance on intermediaries and enhancing negotiating power. Financial independence allowed women to prioritize safety, maintain discretion, and invest in personal development, reinforcing both immediate stability and long-term resilience. Skill development and education further reinforced social mobility. Proficient women cultivated abilities beyond physical services, including literacy, numeracy, artistic talents, and social etiquette. These skills not only enhanced income potential, but also expanded social networks, allowing women to engage with elite clients on a more equal footing. Knowledge of legal frameworks, civic customs, and urban geography provided additional leverage, enabling women to navigate challenges strategically and protect their assets. Investment in self-improvement thus served both financial and social purposes, underpinning the broader trajectory of mobility and influence. Strategic alliances within the community contributed to both safety and upward mobility. By forming bonds with other women, tavern owners, and sympathetic citizens, prostitutes accessed shared resources, mentorship, and protection. Collective action mitigated risks from hostile clients, competitors, or authorities, while enhancing bargaining power within local networks. Social cohesion fostered a sense of identity, resilience, and mutual support, which in turn reinforced professional reputation and expanded economic opportunity. Cultural and ceremonial participation offered additional avenues for social recognition. Women who engaged in religious observances, festivals, or local ceremonies could cultivate a degree of public respectability and integrate into communal life. Patronage by influential clients often facilitated attendance at such events, providing visibility, networking opportunities, and symbolic reinforcement of status. These engagements demonstrated that even in a stigmatized profession, women could navigate cultural and social structures to assert presence, influence, and legitimacy. Long-term financial planning remained central to securing independence. Women who diversified income sources, invested in property, and maintained savings were better positioned to survive periods of instability, exit the profession if desired, and support family or social obligations. Financial foresight enabled strategic decisions about retirement, relocation, or investment in other ventures, transforming temporary work into enduring economic empowerment. This approach reflects not only intelligence and discipline, but also a proactive engagement with the broader social and economic system. Psychological resilience intertwined with economic and social strategies, maintaining autonomy, negotiating client relationships, and cultivating social influence required continuous emotional labor, adaptability, and strategic thinking. Women balanced personal ambition with immediate survival, regulating emotions, managing perceptions, and leveraging intelligence to secure both profit and independence. The integration of emotional, social, and financial competence underpinned the capacity to achieve long-term stability and influence within a constrained societal framework. In conclusion, the pursuit of social mobility, long-term influence, and independence defined the highest achievements possible for Roman prostitutes. Through careful management of wealth, cultivation of patronage networks, strategic skill development, and engagement with communal and cultural structures, women transformed their professional activities into mechanisms for agency and empowerment. Their ability to navigate economic, social, and psychological landscapes demonstrates a level of sophistication, foresight, and resilience that challenges modern assumptions about historical prostitution. These women were not merely participants in a transactional world. They were strategic actors shaping their destinies, securing autonomy, and creating lasting influence within the urban society of ancient Rome.